Hello, creative nonfiction writing students. This class is a bit unusual in that two students are in the on-site course code, and at this point, four of you are in the online course code. So I wanted to make this video just to introduce myself. I'm Dr. Christine Bergeny, and I will be, for those of you who are online, I will be the person at the other end of emails or audio podcasts or video podcasts. I'll make every effort to make you feel like you're part of a course. And we have like a guest speaker later this semester, and so we'll do some videotaping of that. And if you're in the area, you're always welcome to join us. The location is sure to change, and maybe even the time slot, since there's just a few of us, but that's yet to be determined. But the syllabus is up, and the first week's assignments are also up. It's a blog assignment. There's two blog assignments, and they're through the Penn State blog system. So I've given you the material you need. You need to go to www.blogger.com or something. I've got the link for you. And then you have to just sign in, and then I have to click on you so that you are a registered contributor. And then there are two assignments. One assignment is to just introduce yourself. I'm not asking you for a long introduction, in fact, limited to 500 words. But give us some basics about you, your major, your career interests, what has comprised the nuts and bolts of your life. And I've got an example. I posted an example, but I don't mean to say that everyone needs to do it that way, but just to spark some ideas for you. The second blog assignment is called Signature Stories. And so I've got some information from two clinical psychologists who define what a signature story is as one of those stories we may retell that they show a lot about us, our values, how we make choices, priorities, something about our core personality that we want others to know about us. And for me, I've got a couple of them. And one is that I was in drumline when I was in high school, and I had never played drums before, but I was always an ambitious person, and I particularly was in terms of the boys, beating the boys, or not even beating the boys, but just playing on par. And so they had all on the snare line had already played drums before, so it was beginning band, and then I went into the second year, and I just practiced and practiced and practiced, because playing on timpani was kind of a nuisance to drag it out on the field and such. And so I didn't want to play bass drum because it was heavy, and I was pretty small. And so the tritoms were pretty heavy too. So during a year's time, I went to band practice, and then later drumline season practice and jazz band practice, and then I went home and practiced another 2 hours. Okay, so this resulted in being on the snare line, although it was the weakest drummer. And then I was teased a lot. It was just like the other snare drummers, they either were, that one second they were asking me to go to the dances, and the next second they were teasing me, calling me hamhead, armorhead, I guess related to my square-shaped face. Well, so at the end of my junior year, my drum instructor asked me, "Are you gonna come back?" And I said, "Hell no, I don't need this kind of grief. I wanna have a good time. It's okay. I don't like this anymore." And so I guess he had a talk with the other drummers, and they stopped, and I got talked into it. And I had the best year my senior year, I guess. And the point I like to make about this signature story is that I am a person of perseverance. If I have a goal, it's really hard to shake me off of it. And I think that's been helpful going through a PhD program, and not always taking the easy road. The discipline I chose was not the easiest for me because English was my second language, as I was born to Hungarian parents, and Hungarian was my first language. So I tend to make things difficult on myself, but it also means that I thrive in challenge when I'm challenged. And if I get bored, that's probably the worst thing for me. So now I continue to play the drums, but just in the video game Rock Band. And that's a lot of fun. So, I mean, that's an example of a signature story. And, I have others that talk about how I've endured car accidents or, you know, what I was responsible when I got into a car accident to make sure everybody was notified and such, because I might use that as an instructional tool to show students ways that you don't have to just say, oh, I was in a car accident and I don't need to do anything, but to make that leap to maturity and responsibility. And there are others, like getting into a PhD program where I really didn't have the GRE standardized test scores that would allow me to get into top-notch universities for literature at the time, because I'd already had a master's degree. But then, the long story is that I was encouraged by a faculty member to go to the Midwest because the programs are good, but people don't really want to live in the Midwest. And I did, and it turned out that I moved from literature to rhetoric and composition. And then while I was there, 3 years or 4 years into it, they were rated top 5 in the country for PhD programs in rhetoric, composition, and literacy. So that was really great. So when I was leaving to look for a job, I really had a strong program to back me. That was recognized. So again, I guess that's the story of how sometimes what seems like a limitation or weakness, turned out to be such a great asset. And part of it is that I didn't give up, but I also had help to not give up. Encouragement from family members and a faculty member and such, and I did choose to go with their encouragement because I didn't know anything about Oklahoma. I wasn't sure what I was getting into, but I did go, and it worked out very well. So those are some of the signature stories for me. And I also have ones about how I'm such a klutz, or I'm absent-minded and silly, make silly mistakes, and that's to show that I can laugh at myself. Okay, so again, I'm Dr. Christine Bergini, and I look forward to reading your creative writing. And please take a look at the syllabus carefully. I've outlined some things and defined some things and set up a schedule for our assignments. And you'll be hearing back more from me soon. Bye-bye.